So, you've played Conquest, you know when to collect your buffs, and that you should do it. But do you actually know what they all do? I think some of you may be surprised. Stay tuned and I'll go through every jungle camp in the Season 8 Conquest map and give you all of the info you need. Let's start with the coloured buffs, found here on the map. Before we go into them though, I'll quickly mention the Greater Scorpion. This is a buff which spawns here, and when killed, boosts the effect of the coloured buffs on this side of the jungle, for the team who killed it. This effect persists until it is killed by the opposing team. However, it will spawn in the opposite side of the jungle to the team who killed it for balancing. Purple buff, often referred to as attack speed buff, and usually picked up by your carry, spawns here. It gives plus 10 attack speed and has an aura that reduces enemy protections by 10. One thing you might not know is that this effect stacks, so if both duo laners happen to have a purple buff, enemy protections will be reduced by 20. With Scorpion buff, the attack speed is increased to 25%. Red buff, or damage buff, given to mid laners early on, increases physical and magical damage by 20%, as well as giving a plus to magical and physical power. With the Scorpion buff, there is also 7% lifesteal added to the mix. Next up is the Jungler buff, or yellow buff, or speed buff. This gives 15% movement speed. The enhanced version also reduces your crowd control effect by 10% and provides a movement speed buff for each jungle minion killed, which stacks 3 times. Finally, blue buff, which is picked up by your solo laners, gives increased mana regeneration. It also restores 2% mana upon hitting an enemy with an ability, as well as giving you 10% cooldown reduction. The enhanced version of this increases the cooldown reduction as well as your maximum mana. Next, we move on to the big boys, the objectives, the ones that you set up to kill as a team. We'll start with oracles, which you can find here, right next to the Fury. Killing both of these gives ward vision over the Fury, so should be done where possible. And speaking of the Fury will spawn right here and will be one of 3 versions. You will have Gold Fury, Oni Fury, and Primal Fury. Although in the new Season 8 update, the first spawn here is a Scorpion, which must be killed to then allow the Furies to begin spawning. The Furies alternate each time they are killed. Gold Fury will always be first, and killing it will grant gold and XP to everybody on your team. Next up will be the Oni Fury, which when killed will provide gold and XP to your entire team, but will also spawn an enhanced wave of minions in each lane. They have 75% bonus damage, 30% more health, and 50 and 60 physical and magical protections respectively. These minions, if left unattended, can easily take an objective on their own, and are well worth making a push forward with. Finally, we have the Primal Fury, which along with the others provides bonus gold and XP to your entire team. But it also gives your team a permanent buff of 7% increased damage and 7% reduced damage taken when fighting jungle buffs. This effect can stack up to 3 times and is basically used to help you take the big one, Fire Giant. Before we get onto Fire Giant, we'll cover his little buddy first, the Pyromancer. Found here, Pyro grants gold and XP to your entire team, plus it gives you a 40% movement speed buff when you leave the fountain for 15 seconds. Perfect for when you do a quick back and return to lane. However, this speed buff stops if you enter combat. Next up is the big boy, the most important buff on the map. You should be aware of its spawn times, aim to take it at every chance, keep it warded, and never let an enemy get an easy take of it. And if you are going to take it, make sure you have your team there. This fella does damage. Killing this big flamey lad gives everybody gold and XP, as well as a buff, which provides plus 70 magical power, plus 50 physical power, 25% increased damage to towers and phoenixes, and an increase to mana and health regeneration. Later in the game, the Fire Giant will become enhanced, and this buff will increase to 100 magical power, 65 physical power, 30% structure damage, and you will ignore 75% of the backdoor protections on objectives. So you can see why this is the big one now, right? Before we finish, I'll quickly cover the Totem and Scorpions. In the 2 side lanes, you'll find Scorpion Riders, which when killed will go into a down state and emit a healing aura. They will then revive and can be killed for golden XP. In the solo lane, you'll find the Totem of Coup, which spawns every minute until 15 minutes. Killing this gives 25 gold to each member of your team, and it gives increased movement speed and mana regeneration when under allied towers. You'll know when this is active, as the game lets out a little drumbeat when it is taken. That pretty much covers everything. If there's something in the jungle that wasn't covered here, it means that killing it just gives you golden XP. Thanks for watching, and good luck out there.